The Immovable Race 2. World War 3. By Mikale. Chapter title: D-Day. "Now here," said Sophia, the Queen. "Tell us what you remember." "So I don't know where we were. It's not a neighborhood I recognize. We were all outside. It was Mom, well, my other mom, Aunt Irene, Tara, and I. And we were outside, and it was light still outside. It was dusk. And we saw the craziest thing. And I said, 'Ma, look.' And we all looked up in the sky. And there were parachutes dropping down, paratroopers deep in the heart of America, and they weren't US soldiers. And I yelled, 'Ma, Aunt Irene, let's get in the house.' My cousin Ben was with us, attempting to reform from a life of selling drugs and toting guns. So I knew he was toting one then. 'Come on,' I told him, 'and make sure you hand me a gun.' That's how serious it was. It felt unnatural, but seeing those troops falling out of the sky changed everything. Finally we get to the house, and before we go in I tell everyone, we gotta go upstairs in the attic, and we gotta hide. So we go in the house, and shut and lock the doors, and then we go all the way upstairs in the attic. And when I got there I counted everyone, and didn't see Aunt Irene. 'Where's Aunt Irene?' I blurted out. 'She went outside for something,' said Tara. I ran back downstairs, and unlocked the door as Aunt Irene burst in. Soon we were all upstairs in the attic. We all peered out. And then it soon went from dusk to dark, and I must have dozed off. I woke up, and noticed it was night, and freaked out when I saw all the lights on. 'Why are the lights on?' I yelled. And as I turned the lights out, my mother accidentally turns the light on, and there was a knock at the door. We closed the attic underneath us, and covered up any light that might shine through. And as I walked across the attic it creaked. 'No one move. Everyone be still,' I whispered. Standing close to the window I could see out, and two things happened. There was a group of kids in a drop-top Chevy, who were roaring down the street with bandanas on, shooting into the air. Afterwards, Irene, my drunk uncle, called from outside the front door. Turning around to Aunt Irene I whispered, 'If we let him in he'll likely be drunk, and can get us killed.' 'If you leave him out there yelling he'll get us killed anyway,' yelled my mother. 'Ed!' my aunt yelled out the window as I covered up her mouth. I ran downstairs, and before I knew it I was climbing back out of the opening in the attic floor with Uncle Ed reeking of cheap whiskey, and slurring his words. 'Hush!' I said, and all became quiet. Machine gun fire startled us from the next block over. Troops ran along the side of our house, chasing civilians, and savagely shooting them down in the street. The troops wore Russian and Chinese uniforms. They took no prisoners. We could see soldiers kicking in doors across the street. Uncle Ed couldn't stop fidgeting. 'I'm not sitting here to die,' he said, and ripped back the sheet over the door, and climbed down from the attic, and disappeared. Then suddenly we heard what sounded like the front door being kicked in. Tat, tat, tat. We heard, and no one dared move. I signaled for everyone to be quiet. In the room below, two Russian soldiers pushed open the door, and took turns scanning the room quickly with their guns drawn. It was our luck that they never looked up. I could see them leaving, and closing the door through a vent. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief as we heard them leave. I watched them move on to the next house, where gunshots rang out.